It's been another very productive meeting of the National Cabinet today. And importantly today, we discussed many issues, both from the economic front as well as on the health front. Success during the COVID-19 pandemic is not just about containing the virus and having low numbers of cases. It is true that we have had some real success on the health front. There are now only around 1,000 active cases around the country today, and in many jurisdictions on the numbers are no active cases in those jurisdictions. And I note Andrew Barr today has made further announcements on the basis of that. But that's not the only curve we need to flatten. We need to reduce unemployment. We need to get businesses open. We need to enable Australians to go back to work, to earn, to be able to support their families, their households, and to support the Australian economy. These are the curves that we also need to influence, and that's what success will be measured by, together with the outcomes we are seeking on health. We need to restart our economy. We need to restart our society. We can't keep Australia under the doona. We need to be able to move ahead. National Cabinet was briefed again today by the Secretary of Treasury, Dr Kennedy, and his advice confirms the significant impact that COVID-19 is having on our economy and the decisions that have had to be taken to protect the health of the nation. There is now around 1.5 million, just over, Australians who are on JobSeeker. Over 900,000 claims have been processed in just over the past 6 weeks. This bears out the Treasury estimate that suggests unemployment rate will rise to 10% and potentially beyond. JobKeeper registrations are now over 650,000 businesses. Over 950,000 applications have been made to access super, totalling some $7.9 billion in claims. More than 340,000 businesses have received a cash flow boost under our cash flow program worth over $6 billion. 6.8 million Australians have received that one-off payment, that $750 payment, and that brings to a total of 5.1 billion of those payments that have been made, and of course another one will be made in July. There's also been, we heard today, a significant fall expected in net overseas migration, which is expected to fall by about a third this year, financial year, and by 85% off its peak, or off its previous year, in the following year in 21-22. Our economic and income support programs have put a floor under our economy in these extreme times. It's all about underpinning confidence going forward. And these programs have been put in place well before these rather concerning numbers, whether it be on unemployment or business closures or others, have been presented. Despite those figures, and those figures people will be seeing in the weeks and months ahead, it's important that Australians can take confidence that there has been a clear plan to get those supports in place early, to ensure that Australia can be cushioned from an even more significant blow that we've seen occur in so many other parts around the world, not just on the health front, but on the economic front as well. And a key part of that plan going forward, as we see these shocks hit our economy, is the plan to reopen and to rebuild. The road back, which we have been on now for a few weeks. Today, the National Cabinet agreed to bring forward our consideration of the decision on relaxing restrictions to next Friday. Australians have earned an early mark through the work that they have done, and that decision will now be made on next Friday, and we'll be meeting twice over the course of the next week to ensure that we can work through the many things that have to be resolved in order to make those decisions. Our plan has been to get the virus under control and to ensure that we can contain it, to get the preparations in place for our ICU systems and health systems, and to get the protections in place, the build-up of the tracing capabilities within state health departments, the expansion of our ICU facilities, the build-up and training of our workforces to ensure we can get the respirators in place and the access to the critical testing equipment and the tests as well as the personal protective equipment. Today they considered at the reporting of the expert medical panel a series of conditions precedent that needed to be satisfied in order to go forward with the easing restrictions. And 11 out of those 15 conditions have already been met, and the Chief Medical Officer will go into further detail on those. But of those that remain outstanding, there is one that Australians can do something about, and that is downloading the COVID Safe app. This is a critical issue for National Cabinet when it comes to making decisions next Friday about how restrictions can be eased. There are currently over 3.5 million downloads and registrations of the COVID Safe app, and there needs to be millions more. This is incredibly important. As I explained it the other day, it's like not putting on sunscreen to go out into the blazing sun. The coronavirus is still out there. Our numbers may be low, but it's still out there. And if we allow Australians back out into a more open economy, a more open environment, without the protection of the COVID Safe app, which enables us to know who has been in contact, how we can isolate those groups, how we can constrain and constrict that virus from getting to other people. We need that tool so we can open up the economy, and that's why it's so important. So if you haven't downloaded the app yet, download it. If you know someone who hasn't downloaded the app yet and you have, encourage them to do so. Because if you're doing that, then that is enabling the National Cabinet to be able to ease these restrictions next Friday. It's about putting the health protections in place so we can ensure that the coronavirus does not get a run on it again.